I was thinking that we should run through the tools that we have used to plan this week.
Sure.
And we've had some questions about ones that we love and ones that we maybe don't love so much. I know that you already got into Coda today, so if you missed that, I think it was more than half an hour of geeking out.
I think it was about 45 minutes.
45 minutes of how cool Coda is. That's just basically what we should call the segment. But you can definitely catch that. Is it working?
No.
Buffering. So I'm going to talk about Meetingbird because it's my new favorite thing.
Okay.
So Meetingbird is one of the tools that I have started using recently, and I used to use Calendly to book in events in my calendar, but I have like 4 or 5 different calendars going on that mean different things for different parts of my life and different projects. And Gelb introduced me. This is how the start of every tool conversation goes. Gelb told me about this tool that was kind of cool, so I tried it, and it was.
It was pretty cool.
It's kind of cool, man. Those definitely how those stories go. So yeah, I really enjoy Meetingbird. We might show you in a bit once you've stopped playing around.
I still haven't. I don't know where I'm supposed to get this, but I don't think I am.
Why else do I like Meetingbird?
Okay.
It's got bird logo. Oh, so I like it because, for things like customer interviews, I was getting to the point where I started looking, I actually got a colleague in the room who's super awesome, and he had to put up with me.
Special guest.
He had to put up with me one day where I mouthed, "I don't know who this is," to him out of the corner of my mouth when someone turned up to the office for a meeting, and I had no idea who they were or why I was meeting with them. So that was a very interesting half hour. And eventually I got there and it was totally fine and we got over the awkwardness. But it was because I had given out my Calendly link to loads of people, including customers, including stakeholders that I was meeting with, and I didn't know what the purpose of the meeting was. So Meetingbird I really, really love because you can create different types.
Here, I'll show you mine. I'll show you my account.
Different types of links for different types of meetings. You can choose to ask people questions.
So this is what it looks like on the back end.
Can you just appreciate how that was 6 minutes of me talking nonsense?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I'm sorry, everybody.
Trying to get access. I'm trying to do 2 things at once.
Can I do one of them?
Yeah, go for it. Okay, yeah. So this is so you can tell them about this, and I'll click through things.
Sure. So this is Meetingbird.
What do you like about it?
So you can schedule the different lengths of talks, that you can automate the messages that you send out. You can create a Zoom link so that it creates a meeting directly when they book, which is genius. So it takes a whole step out of the admin. Anything that you can automate, I love.
So like I have a couple of things here. So Coffee in Edinburgh, a Z2R talk link. So the things that we send out to our guests. I'll show you what the difference is between. So this is my kind of homepage, and you can select certain types of events that people can book from your homepage. But then there's also a way to do it. Like you can select certain things that aren't on that list. So you'll see over here what's not on that list is that Z2R talk link, because obviously we want it private. And this is then the experience that your recipient gets,
right,
which is really cool. It's customized to their times.
Yeah, we're often meeting with people all over.
What I really like about Meetingbird is when you're creating a new scheduling link, right? So let's just say recurring. This is the cool thing about it. Event is 30. Where is it? Where do I choose? Oh, 0 hours every week. So look at this. So this is user experience right here, Will. So I have a recurring time, and on Calendly you have to say like between 8 and 6, and then do it for Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. I want it to be, if I want to be available from 7 a.m. to noon, on Monday to Friday, I just select like this. Oh my gosh, and it has the pop-ups. It's right there. Isn't that cool? And then you just do it again. And maybe I also want a little bit on Tuesday. It is so quick. I love that.
You have, well, I don't know if anyone else has this, but I have the fear the first time I try a new scheduling system and I send someone a link, and I am always nervous that like it won't work or it won't sync with my calendar, so I love that this works and that it checks. You can have all your different calendars that it checks, right? So it doesn't just check that one calendar, you can check all 5.
Absolutely. So that's really cool. You can do things like make it so that it has to work for multiple people's schedules.
Right, so I can check if both of us need to be in the meeting. I can have it check your calendar and my calendar.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Meetingbird.
That's Meetingbird,
and it's free. It's owned by the guys that make the folks that make Front.
What's Front?
The email support thing, Front app.
Is this how we're going to do it? It's going to be like word association? It's like that thing that is, and then we keep going.
So, it's one of these like shared inbox things, and they acquired Meetingbird. I don't really know why they're giving it away for free. Sorry. I don't really know why they're giving it away for free because there's no real integration that I can see.
Maybe someone from Meetingbird wants to tell us about their business model.
I've asked them. I wrote to them. They were like, why do you like Meetingbird? And do you have any questions about it?
That doesn't surprise me.
Whoever it was, and I wrote back and said, "Love Meetingbird. Do you have a question? Why is it free?
Did
why
they tell
are
you?
Charging me?" No, I haven't heard back from them.
I would be straight on that. Great, Gelb. How much would you be willing to pay for this a month?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my bank account, personally. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Okay, so what next? What else have we used in the run-up to creating
Card.
Briefing Room? We have used Card.
Card is cool.
Card is our Zero to Revenue challenge.
So
page.
this is card.co.
Super simple.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
We have to word of warning with Card. Again, because Willow's in the room, which is fantastic. It won't choose beautiful colours for you. If you are inclined to pick colours that aren't beautiful together, it's not going to solve that issue. It's not an issue it's trying to solve. But you can create really simple websites.
What I like about Card is that it is super cheap and you get a heck of a lot of stuff for like for like $9 a year you get something like 10 sites on it, and then for $50 you get like 40 sites or something like that. So these are really, really simple things, but so you can see like our Zero to Revenue page. All right, let's just mess around with that. So this is what our Zero to Revenue page looks like on Card. So we have the custom bit of HTML here. That's just the YouTube, the embedded YouTube link. We created a countdown. They have a timer. So before the week, if you had looked here, it would have been counting down to our start date.
Which might have been really exciting for you all, but it was slightly terrifying for us.
Oh, this is really cool. So icons, right? Something as simple as icons. Let's say we wanted to add an icon. And not an email one. We want to add a different one. Type. These are all of the icons that they have. Your symbols, your navigation, your brands, and then look at how many brands are on here. I think there's also indie hackers. Indie hackers. There you go.
Nice.
For Cortland there. But look at how much crap is on there. Just saves you time. You don't have to come up with your own World of Warcraft, Zing, Y Combinator, Yelp. And then what they do is, so it's technically a one-page site, and they separate things with these sections. So you see you probably won't be able to read it, but there's a dashes like in a what color is that, CN or something like that.
Yeah.
And then a little hashtag Slack in the middle there. So what that means is like Slack, that hashtag Slack will take you to this page, but it won't display on the front page. So if I went to zerotorevenue.com, you'll see this, right? But you won't see Slack, right? Because you're just my mascot shot. So this is our homepage right now, but you don't see Slack. If you then go like this and then do hashtag Slack, you then go to the Slack page. So what's nice is I'll show you what it looks like for the landing pages that we have. So we're going to create landing pages for Accelerator-backed companies.
So this, for a recap, is for Briefing Room, the product that we've made in a week.
What is Briefing Room?
And Briefing Room is a space where you can update your investors and you can track their level of engagement. So it really helps you hone in on who's warm and who's not.
And then with this one, though, we're probably going to have a lot of landing pages for each like accelerator. So I've just made sections and then I copy and paste them. So I created one for Seed House, one of the accelerators, right? And I just copy and paste the section, change the name, and then it'll end up being, we have a subdomain join.briefingroom.co / #seedhouse, #Y Combinator, #whatever, and it'll be personalized. So that's card. What next?
How about we've obviously been using Slack.
Yeah, Slack, I think everyone probably knows about Canva. So like Canva is, you might know about Canva, but like, for example, our speaker cards are all on Canva. So LMT was making our speaker cards on Canva. And if you want to make another one, you can just duplicate it, drag a new person's face there, change their details. And then if you download, you don't have to download all of them. You can just select one to download, right? Makes things super simple and super easy, and also just really easy to change. What else? The Shape Factory. We showed that before, but for our logo, for Briefing Room's logo, we did logo shapefactory.shapefactory.co, and I know that there are quite a few different services. There's Design Evo and Logo Joy, and there are a couple of them, but this is what we did. So, what do we like the look of? Word mark first, and you can save them for later and stuff like that. Should we do? Let's imagine that this is actually a like a Victorian brand.
Like the first newspaper in London.
The first newspaper in London. Oh, you mean like a really old one?
Yeah.
That one. Come on. Wait. That looks.
Or anything.
How about Great Gatsby?
Yep.
Okay.
On it.
It's a Great Gatsby brand. So let's some logo marks, right? So antlers. Say a word. Say a word. What would you?
Coffee. Obviously.
Coffee. It's coming. It's coming. But it has to be an old-fashioned coffee. So like a drip, like a, I don't know, like one of those fancy Japanese reverse drips or something. Maybe, like
technical terms.
Infuser. What is it called? What are they called? The with the ball. How about alchemy? Alchemy, like something like a steampunky. That looks steampunky to me. Like this. Yes, I think this is right. So let's say we wanted this one, right? So your full logo fit, so it can prepare that. And you can then, you can see, you then can add colors later, you can add animations, and it's just really simple. You can then get it sent to you in all of the different vector formats and stuff like that. So that's logo, that's Shape Factory.
So we haven't mentioned again, but we've obviously been using Landbot and Milanote.
So Landbot. So Landbot is for like the survey that we did. So get involved survey. So this, if any of you took part in our survey, this was a card site with Landbot embedded in it. So we can it is starting again. So founder, you can have like a conversation going on. This, that, and the other. It's just a little bit more engaging than just filling out a survey. And Landbot can be used for so many different purposes. Let's try getting in.
Landbot, we heard from Chris, co-founder of Landbot, earlier in the week, Tuesday I think maybe, and he tells a brilliant story of how how this iteration of the product happened because of a bug, and I love those kind of stories. So it happened because their chatbot, their customers were reporting, "What is your chatbot doing? It's taken over my entire page." But in that time, they realized that they increased the conversion rate of those landing pages.
Oh, that's cool.
Because they were like, oh, we need to fix the bug. But during that time, they recorded it and increased conversion. They realized that sometimes if you make an impact by taking over the whole page and having a conversation, it can really help.
So let's say, this is an example of a Landbot, and it might look a little complicated here, but it's not actually. It's you can design your own flow. So.
And you're trying to be conversational, show your brand, show your, I guess, like how chatty you are and
yeah, exactly.
what your tone is like.
So anyway, that's
it's kind of fun.
And you can also do stuff like use power-ups and add things like sending all this information to a Google Sheet, Slack, Zapier, all sorts of stuff. You can take payment straight from a Landbot.
And you can do human takeovers as well, so you can start the conversation and then you can hop in if it gets to the point where the bot wants to introduce you to a real person.
Exactly. So that's Landbot.
Milanote we've been using.
Someone did ask, so Fabs, thanks very much for watching. Fabs makes a good point. One of your key tools, which is so often overlooked, is your choice of browser. Safari, Chrome, Firefox, Opera, there's so many decisions and trade-offs to make between them. And I know that this really does divide a lot of people.
Go and say honestly why you had to pick the one that you picked.
So right now we're using Opera because I was told to use Opera by the guy over here. So this is, but I use Chrome because Coda works best in Chrome, and Safari I usually only use to like test things, like things that require
testing on all browsers
to be used. And I haven't downloaded Firefox in years. Nothing against them.
Good question.
So this is Milanote. Milanote is like, I'm gonna probably butcher it, but I think like it's part mood board, but much more powerful than that. You can design Kanban type boards. You can coordinate with other people in terms of taking on different sections. You can collaborate real time, and you can have boards within boards.
Yeah, so I think the idea being that if you start with a kind of really tangled design mess, you can just throw it on a board, and then over time, as you're working through the process, as you're doing and evolving your design thinking, you can build a board within a board within a board. So it kind of helps you. It shouldn't always look pretty and organized, and their thought process is that sometimes you just need to get it out there. If you're a get it out there on paper type person, this is a tool that can sometimes satisfy that need. And then you can kind of, through the process of sorting and creating your boards, you can create structure to your thinking.
So here's some examples just of what it might look like. We can say design, marketing, project management. Which one should we
do? User flow.
This one.
Yeah.
So then you've dragged out a board or a template. You go into that board, and you can see.
So if you're trying to annotate things, if you're working like we are, giving feedback to a developer, it can be really handy for that kind of annotation.
Exactly. So again, it's similar to Coda in that it is something that you can use for so many different things, and it replaces a lot of dedicated tools that probably are for certain different
niche tools,
certain things, which is fine. But sometimes you just need something to work really quickly, and then a way to link it all together. And so Milanote is a creative way, a creative solution to a lot of those kind of stuff. So we did make quite a bit of use of Milanote, and a lot of like our resources and stuff will also be available based out of a Milanote board, and that'll kind of direct you to where you can find stuff. What else? What else have we used? Embarrassed to say I used iMovie.
Oh yeah.
because I guess
Kinda
got
had to.
frustrated with something with some edits.
I've been using Bear. I do a lot of my notes and
Yeah.
edits on Bear.
Yep, I use Bear as well.
I like the tagging, sorting with Bear. I've been using Trello.
That's
I
personal.
do really like Trello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then obviously we've been sending out through. Not obviously, we've been sending through Mailchimp our campaign, email campaigns.
Yeah, we've been using Zoom to talk with Ben, but also to record these interviews.
So we've been using their record to the cloud feature.
Yeah. So what Zoom? Here, I'll start a Zoom thing. If for those of you who don't know about Zoom,
Hey, this is good training for tomorrow if anyone's going to join our Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't know about Zoom, it's a video conferencing tool, but that works without fancy video conferencing.
Isn't their strapline should just be Skype but better?
Ooh.
It is.
So
No.
what I really like about Zoom is the recording feature. So you can record on this computer, record to the cloud, and also when you do record stuff, I'll show you what it spits out, because this is not something that's highlighted a lot. But right, so this was one of our interviews. So this was my interview with Nth, which was shown earlier today. So there's the video version of it,
thank you
right?
all.
But then it also spits out audio only. So if you're if you're thinking about making a podcast and you want a really super simple way of recording guests, like Zoom is it. It works incredibly well.
Well, and we've been pairing it with which
Yes, okay.
podcast
so,
tool.
Yeah.
It is helpful to do this.
It's incredibly but particularly Zoom, like if you've listened to a lot of podcasts that have a lot of that have guests and they aren't in the studio, chances are they actually use Zoom in order to do that. So if any of you listen to Harry Stebbings on the 20-Minute VC, he uses Zoom for all of his interviews, and tons of other ones. So in order to actually, we do have a podcast. We've been podcasting at the end of each night. We record how we've been feeling and what was achieved with Ben, and we're going to be routing all of our interviews in podcast form and dripping those out over the next few weeks. And we use Anchor for podcasts. So Anchor is kind of originally they were like a audio social network. I don't really know if they still have that kind of social element, but what they allow you to do is to make podcasts super super simply. So I mean, I can literally, let's see. So they put your stuff out to all the different podcasting services, right? So if you like all these different links, you can go and see it. But you can see the episodes here. Let's just literally create a new episode right now. So this is how simple it is. You could drag a file. So we could drag. Let's do that with Nth right now. So I'm going to drag.
Nth's going to be our first guest on podcast.
We're not going to publish it. We're going to do up to that, right? So Nth interview, and then we can hear.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Nth, and now we're going to record an intro. All right, so I am sitting down with Nth Bar Fields of Elysian Trust, and we're going to talk about all sorts of really cool things. So sit tight, hunker down, and get ready to go. So that was my intro. I could say
good riffing.
Nth intro, right? I can add that. I can reposition it. And let's just say I want some music as well. So
of course.
I need an intro. That sounds good.
Woo!
So I'm going to add that. I'm going to do that at the beginning. And then, I'm going to add that. And then I'll put that in between my intro and him. I'll put that right at the top. And then at the end, got to end with that. So you add that at the end. And then when you preview it, literally, it just... All right, so I am sitting down with Nth Bar.
of nonprofits created there. The chief concern
cool.
is coming up, but we prepare for it. It can just.
Alrighty.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right.
Bye, 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 bye.
And
Right.
literally that's it. You save the episode, you put in some details like, you know, what it's called and stuff, and then you press publish. And so anybody who's interested in Anchor, they also have this cool thing that I haven't tried, but you can give out your Anchor details and people can like record voice messages. So like kind of like a call-in feature, you know? So you can ask your community to record, basically record a message, like say what they think, and you can listen to them here, and then you're like, oh, hey, last week's,
that one in.
and drop them
That's
in on,
really
you know,
cool.
contributions from the listeners.
Hey,
and
we
stuff.
should do that for the guys.
For,
The Slack community.
oh yeah, we should do that.
That's what they think about
I
the
don't know how we do that. Let me see. Let's
You
see
can do
how
that.
we
We don't know how you would do that.
That
That would be cool
call
though.
in your podcast once you have some messages. Okay, well, you all can. I'll look that up later.
Nice.
Anyway, so that's some of the tools that we've been using.
That was pretty comprehensive in a good
Pretty
half
good.
hour.
Yeah.